Definitely, this is.
Welcome to the webinar. One more time.
Yes, we got it.
Hey, 30 seconds done.
Hey guys, welcome to our very first webinar. It is part of the Innovators of Retail series, and today we're covering how the last mile impacts your brand experience. My name is Michelle, I'm the CCO here at Smartmile, and with me today is Aku, our founder. So Aku, you have been, of course, the locker man for over 20 years, and you know the ins and outs of the last mile delivery and all of its challenges. So maybe you can explain to the audience how it impacts the retail brand and what this core challenge is.
Yeah, that's really broad question, and we need to go a little bit back in the history to realize where it all started. So basically, when e-commerce started to boom, that was start when retailers really started to outsource their delivery. Before that, they were selling mainly in their physical stores. Customers went in, saw the brand, got the products, and happily walked out.
Yeah, it was very direct.
It was very direct, and all the recognition, all the brand awareness was directly there.
Yeah.
While e-commerce started to grow, retailers needed to find a way to do the deliveries. And basically what happened was that they outsourced the delivery to the courier companies. And in that process, a lot was lost. What they gained, of course, was efficient delivery. Yeah. But at the same time, brand awareness, brand recognition, all that stuff got lost a bit.
Yeah.
And then finally, the product to the customer is delivered by external courier, and that can go very well or not so well. And many things can happen in that delivery, which actually can basically ruin the retailer brand.
I think especially the last mile for your consumers as a retailer is the most scary, so to say, and most exciting period, like the period in which the product is in transit and will come to me. So this is a moment where sometimes I need a lot of validation from my retail brand that my parcel is on its way and that it's on time and that it's working out. But even if I look at my own experience as a consumer, if something goes wrong in this journey, and most of the time it's not even really a retailer's fault, I would immediately go back to the retailer and say, hey, my parcel is delayed or it got damaged. And I ask immediately from the retailer, yo, what's up? And how are you going to compensate something from me? So that's more natural for me, at least as a consumer, to go back to the retailer. My customer starts in my web store. Instead of giving the communication and the contact away, is there a way to collaborate and to bridge that gap up to the point of the pickup?
I see pretty much that first online sales and distribution channels for that was separate, and then physical stores and the old way of retail was another thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is one thing mostly. So retailers have merged these channels very well. So they can sell online, you can search product online, you can buy products online. And what many retailers do already very well is that they are inviting customers to their physical stores and giving discounts that, hey, if you pick up the delivery from my store, you get it for free, for example, because then they can generate more additional sales. Their brand is, again, visible, talking to the client, and you can generate more additional services and sales. So that has already happened very widely, basically in the last 3-4 years, actually. Still, the way how the physical delivery is still organized is the old way. So it is still mostly outsourced to these handful of courier companies who do their work very well, very efficiently, but it's not always taking care of the consumers' wishes or all the information that you have given to retailer as a customer. So a lot of that is lost in the process. You can't always, as a customer, to choose your preferred delivery method or your preferred delivery location or things like that. Then you just end up receiving package at some time to your home where you are not there, or to your doorstep, or it will go to the pickup point that you never selected and all that stuff. So when you have organized that in the way that customers are getting their wishes through, so if you want to have delivery to the locker, for example, which is conveniently on your way to work or on your daily routes, and you get your package there like you want it, then you're happy. But again, if not, that can have a very negative impact, and mainly to the retailer itself.
Yeah.
It is possible to do that in a way that retailer will really keep their brand consistent all the way through the channels, and of course you as a customer need to get the service how you want it, and then you have a click, because it's not always the product itself that differs. Oftentimes nowadays it can be the delivery that differs. So
that makes your competitive
yes,
edge. Or not, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Often when we think of how we arrange logistics, we are thinking cost optimization and efficiency, and those are also really important things, right? I mean, consumers also expect same day, or if not even quicker delivery. But what we're seeing more and more among the customers that we talk to on a daily basis is that besides the optimization on an operational level, the direct experience of a consumer and the trust in a brand, and feeling like you as a consumer and as a retailer have control over this journey become increasingly important. Now, Aku, what do you think is the core reason why retailers haven't been able to take control over this?
I would say it's very much cost driven. So in order to serve whole world, you need to set up a huge logistics machine.
Yeah.
So we have a handful of retailers who have done this. So let's say Amazon is a well-known example. So in the markets and in the areas where Amazon is having really huge volumes, they have took logistics to themselves. They set up the delivery operations. They even have their own airlines and trucks and drivers and everything.
Huge, yeah.
And they do have their own locker networks where Amazon brand is visible. So, but they do that only when it makes sense cost-wise. So you need, on one hand, you need a huge volume in order to do that, and then you can build something like that. Yeah. Otherwise, you have to find a ways to deliver your products in a more affordable way.
Amazon, of course, is a huge player.
Yeah.
Amazon has a lot of money, a lot of volume. So, and it's in that sense kind of a unique retailer. For the mid-size retailer or even bigger size retailers. These doing all of it yourself is simply not a solution. It's simply not an option. It's not operationally affordable or smart, and it is technically complex. And you're of course not specialized in logistics, so why would you teach yourself that whole thing? So somehow the solution needs to lie in the collaboration with others, but protect your brand, and honor your customer and honor your customer experience. And I think this is where service designers need to be more innovative in promoting collaboration and in smoothening the whole control over this kind of last mile beast. Let's dive into how retailers could start to take control over the last mile delivery.
Let's take the retailer drop-off points and lockers as an example. So retailers started to invite customers to their own stores, and very well designed pickup points for the customers. What we see as a natural next step is to automate that. So basically invite customers to your own stores and serve them with well-designed, smooth, automated service, meaning having retailer branded parcel locker in your own store. That has been in the market for a while. So far, how it has been built is that it has been designed for the retailer own volume only. So basically, again, you needed quite some volume per day that it made it affordable to get your own lockers in. And that has been really the barrier for
Yeah.
more retailers to do that. What we see now and are in conversations with retailers about is that why don't you get all the good things that you have there? So take the locker in, automate the services, keep the brand awareness, keep your brand visibility high, so locker will look like you, but why don't you invite others to use it as well? So share the resources what are there. So basically we are talking about shared lockers, open lockers. So you have the locker in your store, and as a retailer you define how much volume, how much capacity do you need yourself. And that can be, by the way, flexible on a daily basis or even on hourly basis. And then you just sell the capacity for the couriers to use it. So basically, then you invite more customers to your store. Other logistics providers are using your locker, and they are paying you for that use. And in that way, with the shared locker, you will really make the locker profitable. That's the whole business model is the new innovation we have, running this software which is connecting to everyone and enabling all the possible users easily to use the locker is the key behind it. It's not only about like a one locker model itself. Basically, we are representing all the major locker providers in the world. So we have this partner ecosystem behind us. So you as a retailer, you can define what kind of locker you need. We are your consultants in that process. You set up the network of these lockers, you define your own usage, and then you invite others to use it. And what is really cool is that we have backing of all these big courier companies. They are saying that, hey, once these shared lockers are there, we are immediately using those. Because again, courier companies have a need for good capacity in good locations. So it's win-win-win. Mm-hmm. And I think the fourth win, and even the biggest, is that when you use shared resources, when you're utilizing these lockers better, there will be less kilometers driven. There will be way less traffic jams in the cities, all that stuff. So it's very sustainable solution at the end of the day. And we strongly believe that this trend will strengthen. We see this here in the Nordics, especially here in Finland, which is very mature local market already. We see this trend happening, and retailers are seeing the need also to consolidate their existing lockers into one. So it doesn't make much sense to have 5-6 lockers in your store. It's very sub-optimized way to use your retail space, which can be used otherwise. And also it's confusing for the customers. So it's we were just in the shopping center before we came here, and we saw customer walking from a locker to another, and then finally got the package from the right one. But that took quite some time. So one bigger locker with your brand, all the notifications like you want. You as a retailer, you define what you need, and then you invite others to collaborate. And not only the big courier companies, but all the local players, all the local other initiative retailers, secondhand stores, all that stuff. So it really, your locker can be hub for the services for the local community. And this is the sustainable future and innovation of retail in the future.
Yeah. As a retailer, of course, what happened is we got a boom of digital orders. We have an omni-channel strategy now. We have physical stores, we have web stores, and these volumes are rising. And in order to bridge that gap, we're collaborating a lot with different courier partners. And with these different courier partners, we get immediate access to a logistical network. And that seemed like a really good solution at first. And for a part, it also is. You need to be able to serve your customers across the globe, but for your local markets where you have your stores, this is a disrupted journey. You give away the experience of a consumer the moment that they click the button on the website to order an item, and then they lose you until they have the package back in hand. right? And that is sad because you lose a lot of content over this journey, a lot of contact, and you lose a lot of data over that journey. And for the physical pickup point itself, it's just served by someone else. So whether they serve you right or wrong, in any case, that is connected to your brand experience and to your reputation. And what is happening now in markets to cope with these huge volumes in the last miles, that we're implementing lockers because it's more cost effective, it's less manual labor. For couriers, it makes total sense. And then the illogical kind of circle starts. So retailers have retail physical space. They need the networks of logistics providers to cope with the volumes to serve their customers. They partner up with these logistics providers, and they invite them into the store. My store fills up with 5 different lockers, all to kind of feed back the volume that I outsourced. But that experience I don't control anymore. So even the consumers that I captured in my web store are now suddenly served by a DPD, and then they come back to the DPD locker in my store, but it's a DPD locker, and I'm there, and then they open up the compartment and they get their parcel, or even worse, this gets redirected to a different store. Like the whole journey, you kind of get lost along the way. Your brand gets lost. And retail space fills up with all of these lockers that do not cooperate. So you can imagine that one locker is full, one locker is empty, their capacity doesn't overlap, so the one that is full and my web store order was supposed to come into gets forwarded to my competitor, whereas the other locker in my store could have had the space to welcome my customer. So yes, it makes sense. We've built a logistical infrastructure, but the way we built it was with a logistical mindset and not with a consumer experience or retail consistency mindset, and not with a shared capacity and optimization for the system as a whole mindset. I think that is where we started to think at Smartmile, hey, maybe the ownership and the control and the building of these infrastructures should lie with the root of the source, the retailer.
That's true. Yes, and this is exactly the case in the more mature locker market, like in the Nordics, like in Finland, where you often see 3, 4, 5, even 6 different lockers in retail stores, and they are, as you said, they are built by courier companies. We have examples where retailer itself don't get their own parcels into the locker of their own store because of this.
Exactly.
Because they are handled like any other parcel, and therefore they, as an overflow, they are redirected to your competitor store, which is 2 kilometers away.
Exactly.
So that is really, of course, annoying for the customers itself, but also it's very costly for all parties in this. So there are multiple problems. So it's not only the brand awareness, customer experience part, but there is also a lot of this how to utilize the locker capacity in a dynamic way type of thing, so that you get really the packages into the lockers which they are meant to be, and not like delivering them again for several kilometers.
Because at the moment, what can a retailer do, right? You could approach a locker provider, any in the market, and say, hey, I would love to do this journey for my customers better. From my web store to my pickup point, I want it to be my cycle. I will invest in a locker. The locker provider could say, great, how many couriers do you want to work with? You say, I have 4 courier partners, and they'll probably get a headache, because at that point, you have to build an infrastructure from web store, that's one integration, into this locker system. Then you need to integrate 4 inherently different ones also to your system. And then you could maybe feed in your web store volume into this locker. But one big problem there is then, of course, this technical challenge. Second problem, which you already touched upon, is that the volume of most of the time click and collect or e-commerce volume in itself is fairly low to justify the cost of such a machine. And this is, I think, why a lot of retailers choose not to invest into it, because it's technically really complex and it's hard to afford, hard to make profitable. Because at this moment, there's not a big alternative yet, or most people are not aware that there is actually an alternative to build these lockers differently and to collaborate. So I think that's where Smartmile's new philosophy came in, where we built this software platform that makes this technical integration really easy, barely any need for hard coding, and makes it possible for retailers to own these lockers, brand them fully as themselves, feed first with priority their own web store volume to these lockers, and then with the remaining capacity be able to connect additional volume flows of the couriers that you're partnered with. But this time it doesn't come at the cost of your web store volume. And at that point, by welcoming more volume to your machine, you can fill it up, charge for the capacity, make profits, and then the investment and the return on investment into these lockers makes sense. From a brand point of view, from an experience point of view, which is inherently linked to the loyalty of your customers, and giving actually your logistics partners an additional benefit of getting more space to feed their own volume into. So for retailers to start to think different and to own these infrastructures makes absolutely the most future, sustainable, and experience-focused sense. So I think that's why we are here.
When you sell locally, and more locally you sell, your customers really know where the product is coming from, and you easily talk to them.
Can you give an example?
So I'm talking about getting the lockers into your store and then inviting customers back in. So you can serve certain part of the customers yourself. Then you are also able to give shorter delivery times. If there's something wrong, if the customer wants to return, you can handle that easily. All that stuff it's closer to you. It's localized delivery again when the locker is in your store, and you can gain a lot of things with that, because again, if you are shipping out from the warehouse, it's going out there. There is a lot of complication if something goes wrong. Return it or fit it in, and then going to another outsourced pickup place or locker or whatsoever. So I believe that retailers can gain a lot of more closer connection to their customers when they are more involved to offer these services locally in their stores. In Finland, we have started to see the retailers to get into their own lockers. So we have, for example, Intersport is doing that in their stores for certain volumes. Now S Group is doing that with Prisma. So basically, they offer you 2 hours delivery throughout the day, which is pretty good. They have their own dedicated branded locker in their store.
So when I order in the web store, within 2 hours, I can pick it up at the Prisma in my neighborhood in a locker.
Yeah, exactly, because they are selling the inventory of the big department store. So the product itself is not going from far away, it's going from the store itself. But the convenience is that you as a customer, you don't have to walk through the department store, go and find the product. You have to do the pre-selection, ordering everything online, and then you get very quick and convenient delivery. So these things have started to boom. Then we saw laundry lockers in the shopping center. We saw even locker for carpet going to washing and back and stuff like that. So the question is, are all these dedicated, so to say, one use case lockers profitable? We believe that they are not, because if they would have been there would have been more of those. So we see the first innovative retailers experimenting those things, which is great. But what we see as well is that we can make them more profitable by adding more volumes to those lockers, which is again collaborating, inviting other couriers, even other retailers to use it. So,
or even just merging those individual services into one, so you can share the costs.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't even have to be an expansion to invite so many others in, but maybe in one shopping mall, there's already 4 or 5 who have invested in lockers.
Yeah.
You could join forces to optimize, right?
Yes, when joining forces and when orchestrating this shared service, you often need one who is doing that. And there we see us as a Smartmile to have a natural role, not to building our own open networks itself, but orchestrating, making this service available for retailers and everyone who want to join. So this is our purpose in life, to make these deliveries more sustainable, more affordable, and really strengthening the brand awareness for the retailer. And we can do all that at the same time with this new service.
Yeah. And I think also optimizing the infrastructure that exists, because the fact that people invested so much in lockers is not a bad thing.
No, absolutely.
It's actually
absolutely.
really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just now is the next step in evolution,
Yeah.
to say how can we leverage it to its full extent. And we believe that's by collaborating, right? But let's dive into some cool retail brands who actually themselves decided to invest into lockers with a leading focus, especially on user experience optimization and operational optimization. One that we saw most recently popping up all across France and Paris is Vinted. I think Vinted is a really great example of a company that took this step in unexplored ground to invest and build their own logistics, including really big locker component. So for those of you who don't know Vinted, it's one of the biggest marketplaces for secondhand C2C commerce. It's an app in which you can sell your own clothes to other people, and they've now introduced also lockers into that. And I think from their point of view, it makes a lot of sense to invest in lockers, because with locker delivery, there's a big opportunity to reduce costs. And with second-hand commerce, you cannot charge a lot for delivery, obviously. And I think there is a beautiful example of how it's now such a whole-rounded experience for consumers, right? You use the Vinted app, you drop off at a Vinted locker, this gets shipped, arranged with several partners in the background, and then even across borders or somewhere else in your country, someone picks up from the Vinted locker or Vinted out-of-home delivery point. Again, so they really took control over this entire journey. And I think there you see really the big connection between building a good experience to make sure your volumes stay consistent and making it really easy. I think that's always important, because what you might not realize is that the better the experience, the more likely consumers are to do it again. And if you offer a horrible experience, the more likely a consumer is to say, well, no, I'll sell my clothes with another competitive marketplace because this was too confusing. So I think there actually I would love to give them some praise in how they implemented it, and I'm very curious to one day have a good conversation with them maybe about what they thought more behind it. We got to hear a bit at Deliver actually from this brand, and also from the locker provider behind it, Blockit, do also great stuff. So I just think that shows, same as Amazon, this kind of renewed way of thinking from retailers that want to take this control, that want to take ownership over experience, and want to take ownership and control over unit metric optimization of deliveries and delivery locations, lean logistics in collaboration with partners and not doing everything themselves, and really building something that they can control from web store up to pickup point and can optimize because they own this whole sequence, even if they collaborate in between. And I think at that point, once you have that control and that good relationship with your partners, you can really start to build something for the future and to continue to optimize and make it better as the industry and customer demands evolves. The only thing that makes it so hard today is that that's a huge technological challenge, and I would have no idea where to start, even ask someone to help me with that if I were a retailer. If you have thoughts about it, to reach out to us. We have a lot of experience in doing locker networks ourselves, and we have a full software package that can allow you to do this with any provider, any logistics partner, any hardware. So we can sit down with you and think about this new designed last mile. So I think
yeah,
I would want to leave it to that.
Yeah, exactly. So just confirming the Vinted case. So it's on one hand, it's a second-hand products where you really need cost-efficient, affordable logistics. On the other hand, all the customers are also sellers, meaning they are shippers. So there are all the time the need for this two-way shipping and picking up, returning, picking up. And therefore, it's very smart to have these lockers available in the big cities because both sellers and buyers are there. Yes. Yeah. What they did very well, they connected the lockers, for example, in Paris to many other retail stores. Oftentimes, they are also other second-hand sellers or vintage sellers or whatever, but also other brands such as Carrefour and whoever. So that's great. And then your customers see the whole brand consistency throughout. Yeah. But if you have built this, you better keep it. So Vinted had just a case earlier this year in UK where they don't have their own lockers, but they use other party lockers and drop-off points and stuff like that. Vinted tried to optimize their delivery costs in the way that they blocked out many options in their app from consumers. They rolled out that, they planned that carefully, but the customer feedback from their community was so negative and strong that they returned back these settings during the same week because their sellers were saying that I can't easily sell anymore because it is so difficult to drop off it's so difficult to drop off my package to the post office, which is closed or far away. So you really need this dense network, easy access, super easy, convenient, fast drop off and pick up. And this is where parcel lockers can really play a strong role. When these locker networks are out there, there are more and more locker networks still. For example, Vinted case or Amazon lockers, they are still only for themselves. Yeah. So what we believe is that we will see the next wave, which is the consolidation of all these. So why don't we invite others to use those lockers and make them available for everyone? And,
absolutely.
You need a technology for that, and you need a service, but it's all possible. So
and that's also
call Smartmile.
But that's also what I think. Like the consolidation of the locker world is not a physical consolidation. We're not going to squeeze every infrastructure and all the hardware together. No, it will be a digital consolidation. And the ability for lockers in the same neighborhood to talk to each other and to optimize and to share capacity and to make forwarding easier. But for that, you need this technological bridge, this interconnected piece that can talk to everything. And I think that's also what we focus on designing. Just to be totally clear, obviously, we are reviewing the Vinted case as an external reviewer. Of course, this is not someone that is either a customer, but they've built an impressive thing, and we love observing new changes in the market. And obviously, would invite them also to comment and tell us more about what they do and why they reasoned and invested into lockers. Because we can only learn from their lessons and from their experience. So absolutely, also feel free to leave some stuff in the comments and to let us know more about why you made this move. So the key takeaways, I think, from this discussion are the utmost importance of building a good consumer experience and how this is linked directly to a customer return, loyalty, volume. Second is that lockers are a great way to optimize the last mile and to run it efficiently, but it's really important to consider collaboration in that. And absolutely monitor your unit metrics and make sure to build a business case beforehand, and know that there are technologies and technology partners out there that can help you connect systems. You're not supposed to know all of that when you're building it. What I would definitely recommend as a retailer, if you're thinking about automating your click and collect, wanting to take control over your experience from web store to pickup point, and you have your physical store, to reach out to either us or at the locker provider that you trust.
Our competitor.
to reach out to experts. There's people out there, including Smartmile, that know a lot about how to run lockers and how to make systems work together and how to make profit and a good experience for your brand. And we're here even for just a simple brainstorm or discussion. I really think it's worth to share ideas, because this is an innovative new ground, and we all want to build the right thing for the future. So I want to thank you all for watching our very first episode of Innovators of Retail. It was our first webinar, so it might not be the most structured one, but I really hope you enjoyed watching it. We'll work more and more on refining the format. Let me know also in the comments if you have any innovative ideas or questions or things you want to know relating to the last mile. We are there in the comments for you to join, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.
Ciao.